Fire Princess Reviews. I'm Fire Princess Silly here to talk to you about comics, cartoons, and other awesome everything. So it's Tuesday, which means it's Who Day, because this is the day of the week that we review the latest episode of Doctor Who. In case you didn't know, we're on a new schedule where I actually update multiple times per week. Yay! As mentioned, the only thing that can stop me from doing that is my job, which nobody's here tonight, so there's nothing stopping me from doing this other than myself, and here I am doing it. Now, if you haven't seen the latest episode of Doctor Who and you want to, be fresh and hip to what's going on, go watch it. Go watch it yourself. Come back. This is going to be a spoiler-filled review as we go over everything that happens and our thoughts and feelings on the episode at hand. This was Season 11, Episode 6, The Demons of the Punjab, which feels weird to say because, well, I grew up in Texas and that word was used as a racist slur when I was growing up. A lot. Like, Texas has some problems. But we've got our notes and we're ready to roll through it. So, boom! Opening up on the episode is Yaz and family celebrating her grandmother's birthday. Her grandmother's like, I did all these things. I was the first woman ever married in Pakistan. And, now I'm in Sheffield eating store cake. Boop. And Yaz's mother's like, it's still a good cake. And they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And there's a little talking. And the grandmother's like, here, let me give you some things, some gifts of my own to you that I might not be around very much longer to give you, and I want you to have them. And so eventually she gets Yaz, which she gets Yaz the third one. She's like, for my favorite granddaughter, because grandma's got no shame, she's like, here is a watch. It's super important to me. And it's broken. And Yaz's father is like, oh, we'll get that fixed, no problem. And her grandma was like, no, it can never be fixed. And the way she said it made me feel like, oh, this is like the key item that keeps the demons at bay. But no, it's not. But I thought it was. I thought that would have been like an interesting twist in the thing. But the entire episode, I feel, is really interesting. So let's, continue on with our story. So, Yaz asked about the watch. Why? What's the story? Tell me. And her grandmother's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Maybe when you're older. Even though she had just said recently, I might not be around very much longer to give you these things. Oop. Heater. So, Yaz gets the great idea to ask the doctor to go back in time and see what's up with this watch. Doctor's like, no, we shouldn't do that. Traveling back on your own time is, like, very tricky, very hard. And Yaz is like, come on, you're my friend, you have a time machine. What else would we be using it for other than stuff like this? And the doctor was like, alright, fine, it's not technically impossible to do this. I just kind of don't want to, but we can. And, well, there's a great bit between her and Graham where she's like, we might be able to do it through the psychic link of the TARDIS. And Graham's like, what? It reads minds. And she's like, well, it does a lot more than that. That's way too difficult for you to understand. It's like, oh, well, pardon me for standing here just to be insulted. And then she actually explains it. It's like, yeah, that all sounds good. It's a great bit. I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. I just love Graham. Graham is actually turning out to be my favorite of the friends, which is really weird. I do like Yaz. I do like Ryan. But Graham is just like, he's spot on. So, the doctor agrees. She's like, okay, but when we're going back, you can't meddle. No meddling in the past. You can change everything. We're only going for 1 hour. Yaz is like, yeah, 1 hour. Just to see what the watch is about. And then back home. Well, they get to India in 1947. We find out later that it's a specific date in 1947. And Yaz is like, this is like the middle of the countryside. My grandmother said she grew up in a city, blah, 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 blah. oh, whatever that's about. The doctor's like, I don't know. And so the doctor's walking, and all of a sudden, the doctor gets like a really strange vision. It hurts. And she doesn't like that. I don't like it either. It shows like these creepy creatures, and we already know what the problem, or we assume we know what the problem's going to be. So they meet a guy, traveling by on a cart, introduce themselves, tells him who they're looking for, which is Yaz's grandmother, whose name is Umbrin, which is a great name. And he's like, yeah, I know her. Why do you want to know her? And the doctor's like, we're friends. And Yaz is like, family. It's friends and family. It's like, it's bad. Like, Yaz is like breaking all the time rules. But, she'll get better at it probably later on. So they get that ride. But before they do, there's a holy man walking up on the cart. And the guy is like, come on, hop in, we're going where you're going. Just hop in, might as well. The roads aren't safe. And we ask him why the roads aren't safe. It's never quite explained. Well, it gets explained later, but not in that instance. But the holy man's like, you're young people, always in a hurry. I've walked my whole life. Don't worry, I'll be there when the time is right. I'm going to get there. And so the cart goes, and the holy man's walking, and in the trees are our monster of the week. These creatures are like spiky shoulder pads. It's really interesting from the back because you can't see them at all. So they get to Umbrim, and she's like, are you here for the wedding? And Yaz is like, what wedding? And this guy, the guy who gave them the ride is like, to me, obviously, his name is Prim. We find out, and Yaz is like, that's not my grandfather. Well, oh no, what's going on? That's not my grandfather. My grandmother's going to get married to somebody who's not my grandfather. I don't know what's happening. And the doctor's like, well, that sure is a mystery, but our hour is up. It's time to go. Meanwhile, the brother of Prim is like, hey, I need some help with something. While Umbrim and Prim and Umbrim's mother, whose name I didn't quite get, all go inside the house to listen to a very important broadcast that's happening. And Yaz just like, and the doctor's like, come on, it's time to go. And Yaz's like, nope, I'm going to figure out what's up. I'm going to go help this guy, whose name we find out is Manish. I'm going to go help Manish with whatever he needs. And he's like, it's a very, very special and important day. And so he basically, it's August 17th of 1947 in India, which is, as the show tells us, the partition of India. Now, I'm not going to act like I knew what that was before this episode, which we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. But it's an interesting bit of history. And so Manish is like, boop, put some stakes down, like some rope, and he's like, here's the border now. He's like, I already knew what the border was going to be because it was leaked to me, and oof, here we are. And Umbrim's mother is like, hey, but my house is over there, and you put me in Pakistan. He's like, yeah, with all the other Muslims. Like, he's real mean about it. Like, he's not a good dude. Like, not great. So there's a sound, like, later in the forest, and they go to check it out, and boom! There's the aliens. Of course, they're called demons by the locals, and the shots right, they show up, they're there and gone, and they're over the holy man. So the initial thought is that they killed him, and so spooky dooky. So I have in my notes that Not Grandpa has questions, to these people who are just like, who are you? What are you doing here? And of course, it's the Doctor and co, so they can't just be like, oh, we're from the future. Doctor's like, we're just here. And now there's a mystery on our hands. She doesn't quite say that, but she's got her sonic out and she's following the energy of the disappeared demons. And the Doctor's like, you didn't seem to be very freaked out by you know, what you just saw? You just charged right in. And he's like, I've seen them before. And the doctor's like, where? And he doesn't tell her. So I wrote down, not Grandpa has secrets. So he has got questions, he's got secrets. The doctor's tracking the energy of what seems to be an Octoman engine. Like, I do my best at these no's. And so the doctor's like, we're going to go investigate this. Somebody needs to, like, you know, help bury the holy man and not let anybody else know what happened, more or less, you know, why he died. Because they think it's the aliens. So Yaz and Graham stay back to help with the holy man, and the doctor's like, look, super Back to the Future warning. Like, she didn't say that. But she's like, this is your own time, right here. This is basically your family history, and if you push too hard, if you meddle too hard, you could cease to exist. And we can't have that, so, you know, be careful. So the doctor and Ryan and Prim discover a transmat doorway, or the doctor unlocks it, and they go into the spaceship, and the doctor is, like, you know, looking around with the sonic, like, making sonic noises. She turns the ship on and realizes that it's a Vajaran hive. They are apparently, from the doctor's notes, assassins, like the greatest motherfucking assassins ever, because they're a super ancient race who evolved themselves to their absolute prime for fucking murdering people. Named Markham. She pulls up, like, this jar of, like, purple dust, and which we saw them pouring or over the holy man, or doing something with, like, purple dust with the holy man. And so she takes it, which sets off the alarms, but they buck out of there easily. And we find out, as the episode goes on, that not Grandpa saw them in Singapore in the war that he fought for the British, because there's, like, a lot of great lines in here about the partition of India, about, like, because obviously our characters have English accents, are from Britain, so he's like, y'all are just going to show up, cut the country up any way you want, and just go on home, huh, aren't you? Like, pretty great. While they're in the ship, all they find out is that the hive is sacred and they shouldn't have fucking messed with it. There's a lot of stuff going on, you know. Manish is continuing to just be a dick. I have, like, in my notes, like, 3 times that Manish is a dick. About how Prim and Umbrin can't get married because she's Muslim, he's Hindu, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's being an asshole. So, Yaz is like, you know, he's not wrong. Like, she fucking meddles. Oh, it's so bad. But her grandmother's like, look, I didn't know that if he was ever going to come home from the war. I waited, and I waited, and I hoped, and I prayed, and he came back. And I'm just not going to give that up just because things might be rough or might be difficult. We're going to make this work, which I think is amazing. So, good going, Grandma. So Yaz leaves the house, and I put in my notes that Graham's got speeches, because he does. He comes out and he's like, must be weird seeing your grandmother here in the past, you know, not with your grandfather, you know, it's weird. And she's like, yeah, it is weird, yada yada, you know. He's like, you gotta just live in the moment, figure it out later, you know. It's like easier said than that. Like, it's a good speech. I didn't, like, write it all down and whatever, but it was good. So the doctor and Ryan and Prim get back to the place. The aliens show up, and she's like, oh, no you don't. Lock you out using your own technology. And she's like, okay, we've got maybe 12 hours. Give or take. Yep. But she has the purple stuff, and she tries to use the sonic in order to discover what it is. It overloads the sonic, which I like. That's still kind of a plot point so far in these episodes, is that the sonic can't do everything. I haven't seen the psychic paper a whole lot, and I like that a lot. I like that they're having to figure things out with basically, essentially, without these cheat cards that the Doctor's always had. I do like the Sonic. It does get stuff done, but I do like the fact that it's not necessarily the fix-all of the show. So they're getting ready for the wedding. After the Doctor constructs a machine with a Keenan and Kel list of things in order to, like, bust things down to figure out what the purple dust is. Like, Yaz is like, what is all this? And the Doctor's like, science! Like, it's the best. But things don't necessarily go according to plan as the aliens. It's their technology. They figure out how to get back into the barrier, and they kidnap the Doctor along with the purple stuff. And the Doctor's like, okay, I know about you guys. You can't hurt these people. They're under my protection. They're like, we're not here to hurt anybody. She's like, don't give me that. You're assassins. They're like, we are not assassins anymore. And they, like, explain, like, their whole history. Like, in our warring, our home planet got destroyed, and billion people died, and nobody was there to witness that happening, so they are forgotten. And that's our mission now, is to go where people are going to die alone and witness them so they will continually be remembered. So they're not bad guys. They're actually, like, good aliens, just looking to remember people. And the Doctor finds out that Prim is going to die. And she's like, can't you just give him a day? Give him this day, because, he's getting married. And they're like, we're not gods. We're just here to witness it, And they send the Doctor back. And she's like, and she lets her friends know that Prim's gonna die, but they can't tell anybody. Even Yaz is like, we gotta do something. And the Doctor's like, you can't. Because if he doesn't die, you don't get born. That's how that works. And we can't have a universe without a Yaz. More or less. They asked the Doctor to perform the ceremony because the mother of Umbrin is like, you can't just get married. The holy man died. What kind of sensible or, wedding would that be? It wouldn't be proper. And Umbrin's like, you're a doctor. You can totally do this. And of course, this is like, happened sort of before this. It actually makes Yaz a little mad because she's like, she's gonna marry them even though she knows it's not my granddad. That was terrible. Terrible accent. But yeah, the Doctor does perform the ceremony. She gives this, like, great speech about love and how powerful love is and how two people in this moment are more powerful than anything else in the universe. And I tear up because it's really good. Like, I'm not even explaining it properly. And Yaz even helps out by binding their hands, which she mentions is a Hindu thing. And her grandma's like, yeah, but, we're not just Muslim. We're Muslim and Hindu, him and I, so I can do this for him. And they go to, like, the after party or, like, the reception, and Umbrin gives a really great speech about Manish, about how much she appreciates him, helping, how the drought, she thought it was going to kill them, and he still helped work the land and kept them fed, and stuff like that. And it's a great speech, because this guy's been a total fucking dick this whole time about them getting married, and how they shouldn't, because Muslims don't belong in India. And he basically says, look, I didn't work the land for you or your mother. I worked it for my two brothers, one who didn't come home, and one who I wish fucking didn't eat a dick, more or less. Like, he's a total fucking dick. Prim gives Umbrin the watch, which falls and breaks, and she's like, no, this is good, this is fine, because this is our moment, and it'll last forever now, because of this broken watch. It marks the time that we got married, and it's really great. It's like, oh, so that's why she doesn't want it fixed, because it marks something super special and important in her life. You find out, if you already hadn't guessed, Manish killed the holy man using Prim's gun. He's even called a mob because he's like, The future is now. India is for the Hindus. Muslims can get the fuck out. There's a great speech that Prim has earlier in the episode where he's like, we all fought the same war. We all did that. We outweighed all our differences and came together about what we had together, and we fought together, and now we're forgetting all that. We're doing this fucking stupid ass partition, and it's not a good thing because violence is basically ramping the fuck up. And anyway, so managers called the mob to drive them out into Pakistan because they're not supposed to be there. And so the doctor's like, hey, mob's coming, you guys need how to run, whatever. And Prim's like, I'm not running, I'm going to go meet them, I'm going to try to solve this. But he sends Umbream and her mother to run to safety, just in fucking case. And he's like, my brother's not going to kill me. Like, I know my brother. So they're collecting things, and Yaz finds out why her family is in Sheffield because their grandmother basically pointed to a random spot in the map, like, Sheffield, sounds good, sounds exotic. It's not. So Prim goes to face the brother and the mob alone. The doctor and friends are watching, from a distance away because they can't interfere. And Prim's like, look, okay, this is my land. This is our land, but this is my land. And everybody is welcome here. And basically the mob's like, no, they're not. If they're fucking Muslim, they can eat a dick, get into Pakistan. India isn't for them. And basically, Manish is a full-on fucking dick, pointing the gun at his brother. Manish is like, who the fuck are you? I went away to a war that you didn't go to, and I came back and you're like this. What the fuck happened? He's like, and you killed the holy man. He's like, yeah, well, he should have died because it's better that he die than do your ceremony and forever fucking tarnish himself. Like, full-on goddamn dick, right? But another gun's pointed at him by somebody he actually fought in the war with, and just as we're about to watch him die, the aliens, I forgot how to pronounce it all of a sudden, appear, and they're like, we'll witness from here on out. They don't let the doctor and friends see Prim die. They don't let them witness that. All they hear is the gunshot as they're walking away, and you can see that it visibly shakes them. And then the aliens remember Prim. They add his story to all the other stories that they witnessed. And it's really, really sweet. Yaz connects with her grandmother. She doesn't say, hey, I went back in time, you remember? She's just like, you don't have to tell me about the watch, because her grandmother brings it up. And, you'll tell me when you're ready. Even though she knows the story, like, it's cool. So, I want to say I really enjoyed this episode, because I did. I really did enjoy this episode. I like this season a whole lot. Jodie is really just a great doctor in the way she does what she does and presents herself. And I like these stories of, coming together. Like, we had the story about Rosa Parks. Now we've had this. These are two very important parts of history. Now, like I said, I didn't know anything about the partition of India before watching this. So it's kind of cool that Doctor Who is going back to its roots of teaching us about history, science, and all that while still being an entertaining show with comedy, drama, mystery. I love it. It's going really good. The episode in general, it's really hard to watch, like, that otherness start to happen, where it's like, yeah, you've lived among these people your whole lives, and now because the British tell you to, they're not welcome here anymore? That's some fucking bullshit. Like, and yeah, I curse, so eat it. So that was kind of hard to watch just because I've dealt with similar situations in my life. where I was the outcast, the other, and it's kind of happening sort of now in our legislature that people like me are getting, cut out of the process. And it's really poignant for the time, I would say, to show episodes like this. Yeah, and those are my thoughts. I think it's good. I don't know what's coming up next week. I didn't actually see a preview for that, so we'll still review it, and we'll still talk about it, and we'll still love Doctor Who. The Doctor Who. We'll still love Doctor Who. Still love the Doctor. Jodie is killing it, though. And even though I got a little upset with Gaz this episode for trying to meddle in the past, even though she was told not to because she might not exist, all the friends have to grow at their own pace, and Graham is amazing. What are we doing? Well, tomorrow, it's that time I got reincarnated as a slime. The next day, SSS Gridman. That's right, I told you, we're going to start adding things on as we keep reviewing things. Episode reviews are coming. So look forward to that over the next couple of days. And then, of course, the main video on Monday. So, as always, I'm Fire Princess Lily. Until next time, enjoy comics, enjoy cartoons, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!